on ESPN from Bartow Arena in Birmingham. There's your matchup. Utep, the Miners, against the UAB Blazers. And welcome in. It's Kurt Blum along with my broadcast partner, Mo Finley. Third member of our crew is Lyndon Blake, and we'll get to her in just a moment. Well, partner, Utep is averaging 70 points per game, but that's not going to be enough to beat UAB tonight.
Absolutely won't. Utep are off to their best start in 3 seasons. Unfortunately, they've had struggles offensively. What they do well is they get to the free throw line. Look for them tonight to come out and attack the basket and try to get to the free throw line, and look for them to try to cash in early on transition opportunities. For the Blazers at home, they do what they do. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. They're going to try to come out and play up-tempo, force Utep into tough shots, contested shots, and look for opportunities to run whenever they can.
For the Miners, their best player is Tay Hardy. Tell me more about him.
Tay Hardy is the leading scorer on a team of 10 new players. The 6'3" junior from Ellenwood, Georgia is averaging right at about 13 points per game. He'll need a few more tonight if he wants the Miners to get their first road win. For the UAB Blazers, they'll look to Eric Gaines. Eric Gaines is one of the most exciting players in the country. The 6'2" guard from Georgia is averaging 11 points per game, but he does so much more defensively for the Blazers. He does a great job of getting steals, getting his hands on lots of balls, blocks, and transition, of course, as one of the most exciting players in the country. That's what he does best.
Let's go courtside with Lyndon Blake. Lyndon?
Motivated team coming into Bartow Arena. That's because the Blazers have owned this series as of late. Utep looking for their first win against UAB since 2017. If they get a win tonight in Birmingham, it'll be their first win against UAB on the road since 2014. So it's going to be a good Conference UA matchup tonight.
All right, simple math. Well, UAB 8-0 at home. You mentioned how good they are. And for Utep, they're 0-3 outside of Texas.
Yeah, I mean, the road is tough, especially in conference. And I think here's the thing. You have to figure out a way to replicate what you're doing in your home arena on the road. And for the Miners, again, it starts with them getting some chances for some easy baskets. They struggle scoring the basketball, so they need to see it go in early in order to help build their confidence for tonight.
All right, Andy Kennedy, you saw a shot of him, and there is Utep in orange and white.
It's a bright orange. I like that orange a little bit, though.
It's going to go good with a sneaker, and obviously they got one guy with an orange sneaker. I was about to say, you know, one of the things about basketball now, basketball then, you have 5 different guys, 5 different sneakers. You know, it should be all orange if you're Utep.
They better be glad that Murray Bartow or Mike Anderson is on that sideline, because every shoe would be the same. I guarantee it.
The way it should be. Trey Jemison will jump for the Blazers against Calvin Solomon. Our highlight player, Gaines. And it will be Utep and Shamar Gibbons. Utep's starting lineup looks like this with our highlighted player Hardy, Gibbons, Solomon, Onyeme, and Frazier.
Blazers starting in the man-to-man. See if Utep will attack the basket to try to get to the line early.
2 if it goes, did not, and then Jemison will pull down the rebound.
And that's an open 3 for Utep. And if they have any chance to win tonight, they have to be able to make open shots, because they're going to be limited, especially on the glass with the way UAB rebounds at home.
UAB starters including Ty Brewer, were his injured brother Ladarius. Brewer for Brewer. Ty Brewer comes up short from the corner. Second game of Conference USA play for both teams. UAB 1-0. Utep 0-1. That's going to be a turnover to the backcourt.
And for the Miners, they're sort of a careless turnover, not necessarily unforced errors. Again, on the road, you got to figure out a way to take care of the basketball and do the little things right, especially early. Because it seems like the Blazers, they'll get into you defensively, and then that will essentially choke the life out of you before the game even starts.
Now, we have done this, you and I, we've been at this court a couple of years going now, and we've done plenty of games, and we went over the simple math with the Utep people, and the simple math is this. You got to get up to a good start offensively. Buffin will get the first 2 points of the game. You cannot turn it over, make silly turnovers. And you got to slow this pace down against UAB if possible. That's all, if possible.
And the Blazers with an early basket. Great job of drawing the foul there from Solomon. Got KJ Buffett in the air.
I love that head fake, by the way. Here's Joe Golden. Joe, by the way, is the king of Ubers, and we'll get into that story, but he's the Uber driver of the year, Joe Golden. In his second year as Solomon makes it a 3-2 lead.
And if you're sitting on that Miners bench, seeing a free throw go in early, that's a good sign for the Miners. They're 7th in the country in attempts, but only 34 in makes.
From way downtown, it's Jelly Walker, nation's leading scorer. Jordan checks in at 24.6. He's now back to number 1 in the nation. And there's Andy Kennedy. He's the taller of the guys in that scrum. And the pass was picked off. Walker tried to find some help inside the paint.
And I like the idea of Jelly Walker looking to get another teammate involved early, but that's a shot he has to take.
Otis Frazier with a 3.
Contested three-point make. The Miners, they're 1 for 2 from 3 so far. 1 for 1 from the free throw line. Taking advantage of the opportunity.
Gaines has his pocket picked, and then Gaines commits the foul. I like Trey Jemison's leadership for UAB number 55.
And he recognizes that, hey, the first 3 minutes of the game is not going as smooth. We don't want to give these guys confidence. They've struggled on the road. If we come out and we go ahead and kind of set the tone early, he gives us a better chance to close the game out in the fashion that we're accustomed to seeing the Blazers do at Bartow Arena.
Kevin Kalu comes in, number 34 for Utep. Tried the backdoor pass. Brewer got his hand on it. Now one-on-one moves against Buffin. Givens. That was Tay Hardy, rather. Shot clock down to 2. And we got a whistle as that ball went knocked out of bounds, and then it looks like a foul on UAB, a bailout foul.
And if you're Andy Kennedy, that type of foul there frustrates you extremely because you just got a bad foul from Eric Gaines in the backcourt. You play defense for essentially the entire shot clock, and then you give up an out-of-bounds layup.
So UTEP, when you check the boxes, they're off to a good start, which you need to, against UAB here at home. UAB 8-0 at Bartow Arena this year. That's just partial, part of the story, partial stats, as they are 39-4 since Andy Kennedy has taken over here at Bartow Arena. Buffin could not get the rebound, but UTEP does. And UTEP Solomon with the dribble. Now Otis Frazier.
Coaches always talk about playing 4-minute intervals. UTEP has definitely won the first 4 minutes of this game so far.
Shamar Givens in traffic. So a 10-2 lead for the Miners. They lost their last game. It was against Kent State. 3-ball, Buffin won't go. Whistle on the rebound. I believe they got Solomon on Jemison.
And that's no easy task for anybody in Conference USA trying to block out Trey Jemison. We saw him last week dominate the offensive boards, aggressively attacking every miss. So the Miners, they'll have to do a good job of trying to keep him out of there and limit UAB's second chance opportunities tonight.
Jemison in the win against Charlotte, the conference opener. 12 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks. Walker all the way. So UTEP, like Mo said, first 3 minutes and 59 seconds, UTEP 10, UAB just 2. So now under 16 minutes, and we will take on the next dead ball. We'll have our first media timeout, and a good start for the Miners. Walker got fouled, off balance, and that will lead us to our timeout. We're going to take a look at some UTEP offense, as UTEP with an 8-point lead early in the first half. Well, the fine people at Uber have voted head coach Joe Golding as the Uber Driver of the Year. And for more on this fun story, here's Lyndon Blake.
I think we can call this the Uber Christmas miracle. How about this story? Coach Golding was in Dallas. He was renting a car coming back to El Paso after visiting family when he noticed some Pitt football players' gear at the car rental spot at the airport. So he went over there, started talking to the guys, realized they could not rent a car. They were too young, and we all have been aware of the Southwest meltdown flight debacle this week. The Pitt football team victims of that. Coach Golding gives them a ride to El Paso so they could play in the Sun Bowl. The Pitt players were praising Coach on Twitter. Coach Golding said they're bonded for life. They're going to be like family to him after that drive in the car. It all happened on Christmas. What a memory for both of those programs.
Linda, did they leave him a tip?
I think they did leave him a tip. Maybe, maybe some tickets to come watch him play football next season. I don't know.
What an incredible story. We'll finish it by saying at the counter, and we won't mention the rent-a-car place, but they said, hey, whoever you are, they didn't know who Joe Golding was. You can't afford the big vehicle that's going to get you from Dallas to El Paso. He said, I don't think you are aware of, my resources. And the fine donators and boosters at Utep footed the bill, and Coach drove those 3 football players from Pitt from Dallas to El Paso. What a great story that was. National story. Here's Jelly Walker trying to get off balance. KJ Buffin on the follow. He's got all of UAB's points.
And that's what the Blazers will have to do. If they want to climb back into this, they want to win these 4 minutes, they'll have to figure out a way to score some easier baskets, not take so many tough shots, and not over-dribble the basketball. Utilize your size advantage inside, move the basketball quickly to try to get open shots.
It was a kick. And so it's going to be Utep basketball. 5'10", 170 senior from Toronto. That's Shamar Givens with the basketball.
And in conference, if you want to win, you got to have great guard play. He's one of the most experienced minors. He'll have to do a good job, not necessarily scoring the basketball, but leading the team and controlling the tempo, as all good point guards do.
Dos Anjos had a reverse that he just missed. And then UAB trying to go transition offense. And there's the youngster, Ephraim Johnson.
Ephraim Johnson, Coach Andy Kennedy trusting in freshmen early, attacking in transition, getting to the line. And if you're the Blazers, you need that, because outside shots haven't gone in so far. Careless turnovers, picked up some pretty tic-tac fouls. You need to try to figure out a way to score without the clock moving.
So Butta Johnson, who is from Huntsville, at the free throw line where he suffers his first miss. 6 out of 7. I know you're looking at me.
You didn't even get a chance to jinx it that time.
I know what you're thinking.
Well, I was thinking that time, Butter, you got to stay on the line and don't follow it too quickly. But he gets another one.
10-5, Utep. Good start for the Miners, as mentioned. And a turnover. That's UAB basketball. Walker. Lob City! Oh, if I can only fly like Gaines.
I mean, he floats around in the eye. You know what? As soon as that ball was tipped by KJ Buffin, I saw Gaines on this side. I said, for sure, it's a lob coming. And that is what he does right here. Buffin, great deflection, finds Jelly Walker. Walker with his head up, lobs it to the most athletic guy in the building for the 2-hand slam. I mean, UAB fans get at least 2 of these a game, almost from Eric Gaines. And immediately we see Utep call a timeout to settle the guys down on the road. They played well the first 6 minutes. You don't want to give UAB an opportunity to go on a run here after a momentum play such as that one.
And again, typically for UAB, their offense starts with a great defensive play.
Right. If you don't give them a chance, like the Blazers have been struggling to score so far, they got an easy bucket from KJ Buffin. They got in their they were able to get in their press. Got a free throw from Ephraim Johnson. Got in the chance to press, and that led to the deflection, which led to the lob and the dunk.
Both teams to the bench. Javion Davis now. Big man for UAB. Blazers were pressing.
And that's where they get you in trouble, when they speed you up and force you to take a ton of dribbles.
Walker with an easy layup. Mario McKinney is down by us on the swipe by Jordan Walker. No foul was called.
Looks to be maybe just take a look right here. He
To
reaches
the eye,
in.
I would think.
Got to get him in the eye. Nothing makes you go down like that unless somebody pokes you in the eye. He looks to be okay. He's a little upset, but that's part of basketball for sure. Every player gets poked in the eye. Hopefully he'll be able to come back and.
Well, the Three Stooges made a career out of getting poked in the eye.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
I guess McKinney is, hey, nobody's paying me tonight to get,
Right.
you know, if you'd almost put my eye out. But
He's the only one not laughing.
and that's 2 possessions for the Miners. 2 possessions in a row, back-to-back turnovers.
Right.
UAB back to the press.
Utep, by the way, Mo, 22 turnovers, a season high. That was in their loss against Kent State Thursday. And you're not going to beat a UAB club. You're going to beat anybody, but especially a number 1 ranked in the conference and you know, just outside this top 30 or so in UAB. But you turn the ball over 20 plus. You know, I was thinking about this doing the prep last night. You got to go somewhere to beat UAB. One of the other numbers, you know, 8 to 10 turnovers will get you competitive.
Right.
Right, don't you think?
And what happens is they do it sort of in spurts. So, for example, like this is happening right now as we speak. They've gotten a couple of transition baskets, and there's an opportunity for the Miners. They come up empty. Had an opportunity, and that's what happens. The Blazers, you know, it's almost as if they just kind of choke you for a few minutes, and then the lead swells, and you're not able to overcome it, especially here in Bartow Arena.
Mo and I did the Charlotte game, the conference opener for both UAB and Charlotte. We kept talking about some easy buckets that Charlotte left at the rim.
Right, and right here for the Miners, I mean, they've struggled scoring offensively already, so they can't afford to leave any on the court on the floor at all.
Here come the Miners up by 1 with the basketball. Givens. Played 4 years at Evansville. No one guarded him. Oh, the follow-up dunk by Calvin Solomon.
Solomon, that's got him going. He's jawing a little bit. Conference is a fun time.
Walker loves that 3 off the curl. Walker launches, can't hit. Mo, remember last Thursday, he got off to a slow start from the floor. He finished. Talk about Jelly Walker, the nation's leading scorer, with 25, but it was a slow start.
Right, and I would imagine that Andy Kennedy doesn't want a slow start tonight. He would much rather Jordan Walker have an efficient night for the second game in conference as opposed to getting off to a struggling night and finding a way to get his average later.
Now it's 1-on-1. Protects the ball, puts it off the glass, gets the foul.
And scorers, they know how to get themselves going. Like that's a ball that Jelly Walker had an opportunity to either dish back, but he sees it that he can protect and still flip it up to get a chance to go to the foul line. Those free throws, sometimes you just have to see it going in. That gets you going offensively. For the Blazers, sooner rather than later would be ideal for tonight.
Jelly at the free throw line. Can I say it now, Mo? 54 out of 59.
It's almost automatic, man.
Yeah, that's you feel pretty good. He's 55 out of 60 right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you can jinx that guy at the line, especially here at home. He's made a ton of free throws over the course of the past 2 seasons.
Otis Frazier picked up that foul, by the way. And Jordan Walker.
Oh, wow.
1 for 2.
Wow. You know what? I'm going to take that. That wasn't you, Kurt.
That's
That was
you.
me.
That's
That was
you.
me. That was me.
That's on you. Miners by 2 and possession. Givens. Now here comes a corner 3 that's way too long. They get a second chance to the Miners. Nice move by Givens. Can he finish?
And that's a layup you got to make. It's a layup, essentially a layup. Here's Walker in transition.
Got fouled, wasn't called. And Otis Frazier with a rebound.
Yeah, I don't think that's the one you take. I mean, this been struggling from the outside. It's a tough game. Still a conference game. You're at home, tough game. You come up and you give that one. It's a 6-point swing.
Yeah, Tay Hardy with the three-point shot. Our highlighted player, that's his 15th three of the year.
If you're the Miners, you're ecstatic right now. Again, you don't particularly want to get in a track meet with UAB.
Steal coming up, and Gibbons has it.
Wide open. And that's the one. That's the one right there. If you're Hardy, you gotta find a way to knock that one in. You're not going to be more open than that.
And I get, again, you're at 5-point lead for UTEP, but you have a chance to make it 7 and 9, maybe even get into double digits. And a nice pass, Javion Davis hits Tavon Lovett.
Great job of not panicking when the double team came. Tavon right in the right spot, right time.
139th game tonight for Lovin in a UAB uniform. Nobody has played more games for UAB than Lovin. Nice move, head fake won't go. Second chance, that will go down. Calvin Solomon quick on the jump. He's got 7. Nice first half so far for Solomon.
He's got 7, but he's a ball fake master once he gets inside the paint. That's the second time he's gotten inside the paint and ball fake and got a blazer off his feet.
All right, we're going to take a timeout with 10:24 remaining. UTEP a +5. We're going to take a look at this Gaines dunk. And then UTEP comes back with a follow-up jam. We're in the first half, 10:24 remaining. Lyndon, a year ago, Ephraim Johnson was probably playing a holiday basketball tournament for Grissom, and now a year later, he's playing for UAB. Tell me more about this exciting freshman.
Well, you know they have some of the best holiday hoops tournament up there in Huntsville, Alabama, where Ephraim played his final year of high school basketball at Grissom, and he kind of lucked out. When he came from Virginia to Alabama, he played for Grissom and played for the legendary Jack Doss, the all-out historic basketball coach in Alabama with 10 state titles to boot. I got to know Jack Doss when I worked in Huntsville. He's coached guys more than 30 D1 players, so he knows how to coach basketball. Some of the people he was around, John Petty, Kyra Lewis Jr., and they would all come back when they were home for the holidays, when they were in college, and play a little pickup ball in Grissom's new gym. So Ephraim got to learn from some of the best, and now he's putting it to work in his freshman season here for UAB.
30-point lead for UTEP. They've got the basketball. And there is Butta on the defensive end. And UTEP comes away with 3 seconds to shoot, so it's launched. Back to UTEP with a second chance at a 20-second shot clock. Bang!
The Miners have beaten the Blazers to almost every loose ball so far in the first half. They've done a great job of guarding throughout the shot clock, but you got to come up with the rebounds. You give up an open 3, and here's a turnover right here.
Remember, loose balls are 50-50, and what a finish that was. Otis Frazier on the wrong side of the rim, but he still able to finish. You can see the look on the UAB coaching staff as UTEP doing what you have to do. You have to get off to a good start to beat a UAB club. You got to shoot well. You got to limit your turnovers, take advantage, and dictate the pace. That is what UTEP wants to do. Wide open look there, Mo.
It's wide open. I mean, even old me can make that one wide open. And here in transitions, we talked about the Miners having to find a way to take advantage of those opportunities early. They have played extremely well the first 11 minutes on the season. They're shooting 26% from 3. And I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I would imagine it's close to 50% for the first half thus far.
They're 6 out of, or I'm looking at UAB. UTEP is 9 out of 22 overall, 3 out of 8 from distance.
3 out of 8.
3 out of 8. UAB is 6 for 15. They have not hit a three-pointer. It's kind of unusual when you got Gaines and Walker and company. Tony. There's Davis off his hands. That'll be another turnover. And UTEP doing what UTEP wants to do, and that is, again, set the pace and force the other team into turnovers.
And they're a gritty, tough team. There were 2 guys on the floor there for a loose ball when there wasn't a Blazer in sight. So they've done a phenomenal job of playing hard, playing to their strengths. They're not going to try to come out and do things that they're not capable of doing. Right on cue, a turnover there from Gibbon. But they've done a good job. Again, this is the first half so far. If you're the Miners, you're ecstatic. And a dead ball turnover doesn't give UAB a chance to run in transition. So they take it out. UTEP comes and sets their defense, and you try to force them to take a contested shot here.
So an 8-point lead for UTEP. Ty Brewer rises. And back to UTEP. Try to increase the lead.
Good patience.
They got a chance to go up by 10 or even 11 if this goes through. Second chance over the center for UAB, Davis. And I think you said this, Mo. I know you said it, but I'm agreeing with you here that they're getting every loose ball, those 50-50s. And this is all going to obviously show up on tape and be part of the halftime speech. Late foul on Tony.
If you're Andy Kennedy, what can you say here to get the Blazers to put together one of their patented runs?
I will take a timeout. 7:42 remaining, and an ideal start for the UTEP Miners. 22-14. UTEP out in front, 22-14. Mo mentioned this equals their best start in a couple of years. They were 8-3 a couple of seasons ago. And when you look at UAB, we mentioned no place like home. 8-0 here and 39-4 under Andy Kennedy. That's high 80s percentage. I didn't do the percentage. I just did the numbers. 39-4. That's pretty impressive. Now, right now, it's been a good defensive effort. As Tay Hardy hits a free throw by UTEP. You take a look at UAB with only 14 points. Jeremy Cox runs their defense, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, the veteran coach in charge of UTEP. Steve, when I talked to Coach Golding about his associate head coach, he called him a heck of a coach. They say they hang their hat on their defense, which Cox is in charge of. Cox's resume includes stops at Kentucky, Nebraska, Texas Tech, Stephen F. Austin. Now he's bringing his experience to El Paso. And so far, holding a UAB team that is normally way above the 14-point threshold at this point in the game to just those points.
That will be a traveling call. Yeah, you're right, Mo. I mean, you could double 14 if you want to, and we're, under 10 minutes. I mean, that's 28. I mean, they're at, right now 87 points per game, but man, they'd struggle to get to the 60s, which is exactly what UTEP wants.
Right, and UTEP, since they have struggled scoring, especially on the road, defense is what travels. And so they're playing extremely tough. They are a tough team. They're physical. Every guy is committed on the defensive end. You see KJ Buffin with the potential and one here. I mean, this start, it couldn't have gone any better for UTEP.
Mo, that's one of the few times UAB in this half has worked the ball in the paint.
And I think that's where the Blazers will have to go if they want to get back in this game, if they want to close this gap, especially with the 6 minutes left in the first half. You're not going to come back trading jump shots or taking a ton of jump shots. You got to find a way to get easy baskets.
Buffin with 7 of UAB's 17. But it's the Miners up by 6.
And that press, even when you don't turn it over, just makes you think a little bit.
Buffin, look out below. Anticlimactic with the little layup and the lay-in.
But it's just what the Blazers needed. Now look at the energy ramps up, the intensity ramps up defensively. There's another one.
Eric Gaines can do things that not many humans can do.
Here, KJ Buffin with the quick hands. sure basket. When you're down, you want to make sure that take care of make the easy basket. No need to do anything extra. For a second, I thought Air Games was going to float in the air and stay in the air, find somebody open. But he's human, I guess.
I'm not sure. That's not been confirmed.
Oh, that's a ball. You got to score right there.
Beautiful head fake. Speaking of N1, Calvin Solomon is putting together a solid first half of basketball.
Like if you're the Blazers, you have to expect the head fake from Solomon. He's essentially done it 3 out of, I know, 4 times that he's been inside the painted area. Stay solid, force him to shoot a basketball to score over the top of you if you're the Blazers, interior defenders.
Second foul on KJ Buffin, which will send him to the bench at some point soon. In fact, with the whistle, he will go to the bench. Look at the body language of Utep right now. It's pretty darn good, and that tells you how excited they are to be in this one with approaching 6 minutes left first half, and they know they played extremely well, especially on that defensive end, as we talked about.
They have played a gritty first half so far, and they've done a really good job of forcing the Blazers into careless turnovers and also forcing the Blazers into tough shots. That could have easily been a charge. That's a turnover there.
Now if you're Utep, okay, we're looking at the end game here. They've got to convert. They've just got to turn over, stop the momentum. They need 2 at the very least, because these are points they're going to be needing somewhere in the second half.
I think if you're Utep, especially now, you just continue to do what you've done. Don't start, thinking too much. Continue to play to win. Don't try to slow down extra just because you're up early. You got to continue to play, continue to attack when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, they try to attack that time. Blocking foul on Trey Jemison.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Jemison seems to be in good position. Of course, he definitely doesn't agree. Let's take a look right here. And we see it here. There's a drive. Jemison straight up. He's moving a little bit. He's moving a little bit for sure, but, that's a tough call. That's a tough call.
I'm going to ask you the question, did his hands go down? I don't think they did.
I think it was more about his lower body because he was still kind of stumbling as he was, getting vertical.
Well, Tay Hardy at the free throw line. I want you to store this in your memory bank for those watching across the country. Utep is only a 61% free throw shooting team. Points that, especially again down the stretch, 4 minutes left to go, close game, they're going to need.
And they get to the line. They get to the line as well as anyone in the country. But they have to find a way. Going 1 for 2 won't help you on the road. That won't win a road game.
Right. And we're praising how well they've played, but Joe Golding didn't come in here to get attaboy. He came in here to try to get a win. That's 3 if it goes down. It was off balance for Gaines. Joe Golding doesn't need an attaboy. He just got one from Pitt.
From the Pitt guys he gave the ride to.
From the Pitt Panthers gave a ride to. Well, he's looking to come in and out of Bartow. What teams rarely do, and that's get a dub.
I like the patience here by UTEP. Not in a rush.
If not one. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, get the pick and roll to the switch you like. Loose ball. Let's see who comes up with it.
Shot clock. That's who came up with it.
If you're the Blazers, that's the best case scenario because there were 2 UTEP players right near the basketball.
I want to reuse this stat just because UAB is undefeated at home, 8-0. UTEP has not won on the road. They're 0-3. Let's see if any of that plays in a little bit later on. A little too early, but team that hasn't lost at home, a team that hasn't won on the road yet. Nice pass inside that will draw a foul. Taven Lovin will head to the free throw line.
Jelly draws a crowd, doesn't he?
He does, yes, he does.
And for him, I love the fact that here on the drive, he draws 2, looks for find an open teammate, doesn't force a fadeaway jump shot. And you give your teammate a chance to go and cut this lead at the foul line.
There's Joe Golding, only in his second year, 10 years at Abilene Christian. He was a point guard for Abilene Christian from 94 to 98.
Great job with 10 new guys. I mean, could you imagine 10 new guys
Nope.
And essentially that's, the lay of the land everywhere now with the portal. But he's done a tremendous job, especially thus far, with getting all of those guys on the same page.
This Utep club had 3 of their players, big contributors from last year's team, head to bigger universities, Power 5 schools.
We're coming up on a really big 4 minutes for the Blazers right here.
UAB's ball.
A lot of the zone pressure. That's Ty Brewer here's Gaines pushing in transition while everybody's relaxed.
And the former LSU Tiger backs it up.
Like nobody was watching.
Walker, that's his corner 3.
Javion Davis had it in his hands, just took his eye off it for a second.
Well, UAB 0 for 7 from distance.
Yeah, that's tough. And I think part of the issue, that was probably one of the most open threes Jelly Walker will get tonight. For the most part, they've been contested. They've been, difficult shots. Eric Gaines took a step back a couple of seconds ago. Let's see what we got. Double technicals.
Double techs. We'll try to clean this thing up when we come back. 3:59 remaining, so under the 4-minute mark. And it's Utep by 6 at Bartow Arena. Back at Bartow Arena, we got the explanation of the year. But before we get that explanation, let's look at what happened from coming out to in to the 205 area code. Gaines at LSU, Davis, Mississippi State, Bertram from upstate in New York, and then the Brewer brothers from ETSU. And then if we had El Paso up there, UTEP, again, they lost 3 guys at Power 5s. Andy Kennedy got 3 guys from Power 5s. But that being said, we got the explanation of the year. Do you remember the old NFL referee explanation of giving him the business? So, Mo, tell our viewing audience of what the official told us the texts were on.
Well, right before the break, 2 technical fouls were issued to guys, and the official explanation was that they were exchanging holiday pleasantries with each other. Listen, man, holidays are tough. It's a stressful time.
That's right. Good one. That'll be on Davis.
And that's a bad foul away from the ball. There's no reason to grab and hold there. Essentially,
but I don't know if you have to call that. Well,
I mean, you don't have to call
I want to see some bump and grind. I want to see some physical basketball without a foul. Let's see what happens.
Or here, I mean,
you see a foul there?
Right here is physical, and now he goes to push him and wrap his arms around him a little bit. I guess maybe that's a holiday hug. Maybe Davis just giving him a holiday hug.
I'm going to go back to that, a holiday hug. I don't think that's a foul as much as it is a holiday hug.
I think what happens is once it starts to get chippy, because I've noticed a little bit of extra emotion from both guys, from both sides, and so you want to try to nip it in the bud before something happens.
And I agree with that.
Clean, competitive game. It's a good game so far, and you want to keep it that way.
And I could equate that to baseball. Most brawls are because an umpire did not diffuse a situation.
Right.
And so what you're saying is these guys are saying, hey, but before you even think about it, we're going to put a lid on. Look at Walker finish.
Just turning the corner. Great job by Walker. Caught the Miners sleeping. That weave action forces defenders to relax just a touch if it's away from you. Great job of Jelly Walker recognizing the opening.
Jelly is the nation's leading scorer, has 5 so far. And then a basket by Solomon kind of quiets the crowd and the momentum. Walker for 3. Swish!
And of course, that's not a great shot, but that's just Jelly Walker making a play. It gets the crowd going, gets the defensive energy up. Let's see what happens.
Foul on Davis again. That one we have no problem with. You'll see a swinging
that's tough.
Right arm coming down. But
just in transition, I'm at home, uncomfortable. I lead the nation in scoring. I can take this shot and make it.
From the logo, no less. You know, he already has one of the great nicknames in college basketball, Jelly Walker. But, you know, if he was a common man, we'd call him Logo Joe.
Logo Joe. You know, I've seen guys shoot from the logo, but typically it's in the second half and the game's sort of in hand. You know, he will pull up from anywhere. And Eric Gaines does it as well. They have, Coach Kennedy gives them a freedom that tons of guys don't have. The Miners go 1 for 2 again from the line.
Mario McKinney, first points of the night. Missed the last game against Kent State, but getting some time tonight. 5-point lead for Utep. One-on-one, and then Logo Joe rises, but how about that follow?
Ty Brewer right there bailing Jelly Walker out. He does so much defensively and stuff that doesn't necessarily show up in the box score. Obviously, that will show up in the box score, but he's just in the right place at the right time, playing good basketball.
Brewer almost caused the turnover. Very tenacious defensive player, Ty Brewer, 6'7", 200-pound senior. His brother, Ladarius, with a broken hand. They tell me that he will be back sooner than later. Ladarius was a starter.
Right.
And Ty was coming off the bench.
Ty played valuable minutes off the bench tonight. He was able to get the start, and he's out. He's playing for 2 maybe, man. I think if you're the Blazers now, I think you can feel a run sort of building up. But I think what's happening is they're sort of getting a little aggressive. It's Ty Brewer there with the foul. I think they're getting a little over-aggressive, trying to sort of force the issue. You don't always have to steal every basketball. Your pressure will work if you just do what you're supposed to do. Don't try to make it happen. It'll happen on its own.
Remember those free throws we talked about? 61% for Utep on the year.
And they're getting to the line. Like, they are getting to the line.
But they got to hit, Mo. You got to do better than 60. Again, we mentioned all these formulas. To beat UAB, you can't leave points at the line. What a move by Jelly. And what a rejection that was by Kalu. After Walker faked everybody out of their sneakers, Kalu last minute got his hand in there. And under 2 minutes left to go. 4-point lead for Utep.
Look for Utep to attack the paint, try to get back to the line, which is what they do best.
Nice feed. Missed at the rim. Second and third shot. And that one finally goes down for Gibbons.
Tough basket. Just gritty effort. Denied. You got to come up with the ball. You got to come up with it.
Ranji Gordon in for the Blazers in a kind of a telegraphic pass there that was deflected out of bounds. UAB will have 18 to shoot, 107 remaining in this first half. Walker, fadeaway, got it for 2.
Walker got away with a little push there. That's a tough contested jump shot. The 4-point lead by Utep. For whatever reason, the Blazers are playing as if it's much more. They're playing at a much more frantic pace. Look at that steal by Taven Lovin.
Gaines passes up the corner and then misses from inside the paint.
I'm not sure what happened. He maybe got in midair and decided to do something different.
So it certainly appears that UTEP is going to go into the locker room with a lead, which is so rare against the UAB team.
That's a foul. That is a foul.
That was Mario McKinney pushing off. Got away with it. 5 to shoot. I'm not sure if UTEP is aware of the clock. This one is hoisted, won't go. And that will give UAB 9.7.
And that's a great job by Jelly Walker of not trying to retaliate. You know, obviously, both teams are playing hard. You want to defend your home court. You want to get a road win. Let's see what the last 5 seconds look like.
Jelly, a little off balance. That's not going to go. And that will end the first half. Yeah, he didn't get squared up in time. And it will be Utep going into the locker room with a lead on the road, 34-30, as the Miners come from Texas to Birmingham. Their sights set on a road win. Lyndon Blake.
Coach, you've struggled on the road this season. How are you able to find success in the first half?
Yeah, we got off to a good start, and I think that helped a little bit. Obviously, they're a very good team. They're going to come back. We got to value the basketball. So one thing we're not doing, the only good positive thing about our turnovers are dead ball turnovers. They're not live, but we got to do a better job of keeping them out of transition.
You say you hang your hat on your defense. How does your defense stand up against the nation's leading scorer in the second?
Yeah, I thought it was good. The problem is we got to play him another 20 minutes, right? I mean, he's one of the best players in the country, and he's got really good players around him. So, and now we got to go on that end where we can't talk him through stuff. So our communication is going to have to be really good, and we're going to have to continue to do it for 20 more minutes.
Thanks, Coach.
So UTEP dictates the pace, and they go into the locker room after 20 minutes with a 34-30 lead over the UAB Blazers. Mo Finley and I, along with Lyndon Blake, will be back from Bartow Arena in the Magic City of Birmingham after this timeout. As they did, and can they contain Jordan Walker? Jelly had, if it's possible, a quiet 10. He only had one three-point basket made.
I think they did a great job of forcing Jelly Walker into tough shots. But the most impressive thing they did was just the rebounding margin. And for the Miners, they did it without Trey Jemison on the floor. Let's see if they can find a way to continue to dominate the glass with UAB's best rebounder on the floor.
Jemison played about 6 minutes in the first half, did not score. That dunk we showed by Gaines, his only basket of the game. So UTEP did a lot of things right defensively and a lot of things right overall. They lead by 4. And this is Gaines. Gaines runs the point. Walker's really now the two guard. Mid-range jump shot would not go for Brewer.
And that's a good find by Jelly Walker. Brewer, that's a shot that Brewer takes and makes. And that's a great opening possession. Obviously doesn't lead to a basket, but it's not a turnover, and it's a quality shot.
Gibbons thought about the three, wasn't there. KJ Buffin playing defense. Look out. And back to UTEP on the steal.
Loose ball, Miners get it.
Well, we got a time stoppage.
The coaches used to always say, go get the ball. Don't reach at it. Go get it. Dive and get it. The Blazers, for the first half and even now for the first 45 seconds or so of this half, they're loose balls, they're reaching. You can look to see they're attempting to kind of take off and get in transition with it before they actually have possession of it. You got to establish possession. You got to grab
it. Shot clock at 7. Gibbons. It's got to go up soon. And then right back to UTEP for a second chance. How about that?
That looked to be almost, a miscommunication there from Eric Gaines. Obviously you're not talking while you're rebounding, but Trey Jemison was in great position to secure that rebound, and for whatever reason, Gaines tapped it out.
Shot clock down to 5. And a miss by Onyema. The foul on Jemison, that'll be his 3rd. Look at that hustle play.
They're simply outworking UAB up to this point. They've outworked them, especially on the offensive glass.
Yeah, Trey's going to go to the bench. UTEP hoping to get some more points. They did. Got a 4-point lead. Brewer. I think Gaines surprised Brewer there with that pass.
He did surprise. That was a great catch by Brewer. I think Brewer was getting ready to try to maybe go to the offensive glass. Gaines slipped it to him just as he was about to load up the jump to try to get the rebound, but very fortunate there that wasn't bobbled.
Here's Walker. 1 for 8 now from outside the arc for Jordan Jelly Walker.
If you're UTEP here, come out, run your offense right downstream.
3 if it goes. Yes! Otis Frazier.
That time looks as if Ty Brewer turned his head. Miscommunication on the down screen. Open 3 for Frazier.
Buffin tries to answer. That's coming up short, you can tell. And that'll be out of bounds. UTEP, we said the first 4 minutes. Now the first 2.5 have gone their way. They've increased their lead from 4 to 7. I was thinking about this for a sec, Mo. When was the last time that, and you've been involved in UAB basketball for 2 decades, when was the last time you said a team, air quote, outworked UAB? Because you said that about 2 minutes ago. Someone outworking UAB. That's just almost impossible to believe.
I can't remember the last time I said it, but I mean, it's been an obvious, from everyone who's watched tonight. Every loose ball, there are at least 2 Miners near every loose ball.
Gaines looks to fly.
Oh, wow. It almost dropped. I think if you're UAB, you're not going to come back here by taking quick contested threes. I don't care if it's Jelly Walker, whoever it is. That's not a great formula to walk down a lead. Again, UTEP is playing with extreme confidence, and they played so well defensively. You're not going to have wide open looks unless they just make a defensive mistake. So you got to figure out a way to come down, move the ball quickly, and get to open spots where guys can take makeable shots.
Solomon with a foul. Gaines with only his 3rd point of the night. Kalu in for UTEP. Eric Gaines, 2 for 2 this trip. 5-point lead for the visiting Miners.
Again, 5 points isn't insurmountable by any stretch. I mean, it's still so much time left, but it feels like more. And the Blazers seem to be at a frantic pace in terms of wow, that's almost out. Yeah.
It appeared
that's tough.
that Kalu had the ball go off the bottom of the goal and out of bounds.
I think every Blazer was caught off guard by what exactly the call was there. We take a look here. Good strip by Gaines, but now.
And they get a bucket, UTEP. They are doing everything right so far. That's 14 for Solomon, who's had an outstanding game.
And we talked earlier about guys having to score, about them struggling to score. Solomon's, not a scoring threat, or at least, from the stats. I mean, 6.3 per game.
Yes, I agree.
He's essentially almost tripled that tonight.
Yeah, I looked down at that and saw the 6. I'm like, whoa. Turnover, UTEP. UTEP by 7.
In the first 4 minutes, it's been fairly even. But I want slight edge to UTEP.
Slight, and remember, though, the lead at half was 4. It's at 7. Nice feed from Walker to Buffin, but.
And if you're Buffin, you gotta go up with that ball as soon as it hits your hands. You don't have time to dribble it. You dribble it, Miners are coming. Like Coach Kenny said, they've been the most physical team. You don't want to give them a chance to get into your body in any way. Look to score quick as it touches your hand, especially in the paint.
There's UTEP 2-on-1 and the finish. Otis Frazier with 10.
Taking advantage of the opportunities in transition. Otis Frazier over his average 7.8 on the season, and he's got more already.
UAB is so disconnected.
And he was giving, slowing the pace down, making sure that the Miners get a good shot here. Little horns action with the staggered here. Here comes another stagger.
Gibbons running. Dunk you. Very much, says Solomon.
That's a great offensive possession. You get a ball reversal, side pick and roll. Jelly Walker did a good job initially on the defense, but Gibbons, the fifth-year guy, finds a seam, drives, dishes to the easy layup underneath.
Well, you can feel what Utep is trying to accomplish. Look at Utep from deep. How about the Miners up by 11 when we come back here in the second half?
Here we are, in the heart of the city that is the heart of the city. At UAB, we're restless, with curiosity and the passion that sparks every new idea and discovery. Here we're learning everywhere and anywhere, growing, bonding, building something different, because different moves the world. Here we aren't just doing what we can, we're doing what they say we can't. Here we are shaping a better world for all of us. Here we are.
The Gold Wall of Honor at UAB. Utep by 11. Can they get to the finish line? They got 14 minutes and 59 seconds. Linda Blake, Utep on the road coming in 0-3. Joe Golding had an explanation for you, didn't he?
So we've talked a lot about that 0-3 away game record for the Miners. I asked Coach this week, what's been the struggle on the road? And he said, well, we have a new team. A lot of guys hit the portal, so he's working with a new group this season. He said he has to figure out how to take what they can do at home on the road. They found success at home this season, but he said the biggest reason they've struggled is because they've given up big runs, big 12-0, 15-0 runs to teams. So if they can eliminate that, Coach believes they'll be able to translate that success to the road the rest of the season.
You know, Mo, here's an unusual stat, rather. UTEP has turned the ball over more times than UAB, but they've got this double-digit lead. And then what I'll say is because of the rebounding.
It's the rebounding.
The rebounding is just off the charts. I've never seen a team dominate UAB on the boards here in Birmingham like UTEP is doing so far.
And if UTEP, unless UAB gets really busy on the glass, this will be the third game in a row that UTEP has out-rebounded their opponent.
Shot clock was emptying out. It counts. I believe they'll check it. Tay Hardy looking for 2 more points. I will take a timeout as they try to take a look and see if that counted. I think it did. That's just a guess. We'll be back. 43-34, UTEP in front. UTEP by 11. 45-34, Mo. 14-10 remaining. You can hear the cadence of my voice contemplating and thinking, is this going to be one of college basketball's upsets?
Well, that little brief timeout, ref just came by and said that basket will count. I think if you're the Blazers, you have to realize 14 minutes is a ton of time, but you can't do that right there.
Walker saved what would have been a bucket for Calvin Solomon. Solomon having his best game of the year. 16 points. Mo mentioned earlier, he averages 6.
He's about to triple his points per game
in one night. Gibbons will try for 3. Wow. While you're up there, Eric, can you change a light bulb? And a turnover.
And if you're the Blazers, you just have to slow down.
There's no pace there.
And
yeah.
You have to realize there's no 11-point play. You're not going to come back on one possession. It's possession by possession. It starts with getting stops.
I don't think a lot of teams, a lot of the other Conference USA teams gave Utep a chance in this game, especially, again, in Birmingham. In El Paso, that's a different tune. But UAB under Andy Kennedy, that'll be a foul. 39-4 at Bartow. Andy Kennedy has not lost to Utep. He's 5-0. Utep doesn't have a win on the road. UAB hasn't lost at home. None of this makes sense.
As we watch Eric Gaines, they're pushing transition. That's a much better push. And UAB, in order to keep Coach Andy Kennedy 6-0 against UTEP, they'll have to find a way to get out and score in transition, but they have to be smart about it and not reckless and out of control.
Gaines empty on that free throw attempt. Oh, well, this is an 11-point deficit. 0 for 2.
Loose ball, who gets it?
Off balance, and it will go and +1. That's butter.
And that's one of the few times you've seen the UAB Blazers out-hustle, out-tough the Miners here. 2 guys are on the floor. KJ Buffin's on the floor with 3 Miners, finds a way to find Johnson there for the possible and one. And how about Butter Johnson here? It's in the middle, in the midst of what's essentially probably the biggest deficit that UAB's faced at home in conference season, second game of the conference, and he's out here playing while the game's being decided.
Unable to finish the 3-point play. Now, Mo, you played this game. We talk about that. I'm just a broadcaster, and the emotions are different. And what I'm getting at is, I know it's just 12 minutes, and I know you're saying that there's plenty of time. I agree, but UAB has not shown any signs that they're able to go on a big run.
Well, I think part of it is that there's a little bit of a panic to a degree because they haven't been in this position, and so that's a good stop right there. And you have to find a way. At the free throw line, Johnson, you have to find a way to make those free throws. You have to find a way to make the and ones, the layups around the basket. You have to find a way to get the loose balls. You're still in a really good spot. You're at home in a place where you don't lose often. It's just a matter of putting it all together.
Jemison wanting the ball.
And I think if you're Taven Lovin, I get the idea. Taven Lovin's not known for his jump shooting. There's a weak side cut, but if he stays and spaces the floor, that gives him more room to operate and drive here. He got very lucky because, look around, there are 3 Miners right there. Even if you catch it cleanly and drive it cleanly, chances are there's going to be a tough finish that's required.
By the way, Trey Jemison has not scored in this game. Buffin picks up the air ball. And Buffin with 11.
And if you're the Blazers, that's how you'll have to walk the Miners down.
Still a huge advantage for the Miners on the boards.
Seeking the Miners avoid the runs that Coach spoke about earlier with Linden on the road, giving up those 10-0, 12-0 runs.
A running shot missed. Gibbons was Buffin.
Good decision. Good decision.
Took that jab towards the three-pointer. That's not his game. There's a foul.
And that's what you need. If you're the Blazers, that's exactly what you need right here.
Look at Joe Golding, the head coach of Utep. We're going to get a timeout. Joe's near midcourt. He's 11 minutes away from a big upset, but UAB starting to carve into that lead. All right, Utep on the road leads by 7. You're looking at the nation's leading scorer, Jordan Walker. Today, only 12 points. Mo, he's going to have to really pick up. In fact, he'll have to double his output in 11 minutes. And you see him, he's not going to be able to score from that position.
It's tough to score from the bench, but I think if you're Jelly Walker, obviously he's a great scorer, guy who's known for scoring in spurts. But for the Blazers, I think they found themselves in a tough spot here, down 7 with the momentum now. I would imagine Jordan Walker could care less about scoring 12 points. I think he would much rather find a way for his team to eke out a win here.
This is Gaines.
And that's a good sign for Gaines. Seeing it, he missed his last free throw. Good chance here to get him going offensively. Is it me? Am I doing it? Am I doing it, Kurt?
No, but more importantly, Butta's doing it. Gaines going to draw a foul. Those are fouls. Utep can't do that.
You can't do that. But if you're Gaines, you have to convert. UAB is doing a good job of driving to the basket. Jumpers aren't going in. They're getting to the foul line. This is how you can creep back in. Here's a great drive. And now,
hand. And I mean, that was close.
That's a close call.
To a flagrant.
Yeah, that's a close call. But if you're Gaines, you got to go and make these. You can't keep coming up 1 for 2.
Gaines now 4 out of 7 at the line. It leaves a couple points so far. UAB is down by 5. They have had 0 points from their post player. That is almost unimaginable.
And I think you would think, Trey Jemison, obviously they don't play a lot through him offensively in the half court, but you would think a loose ball here, an offensive rebound there.
A dunk.
Nothing so far.
0. I wonder if he's been shut out. More defense by UAB. Look out below! This is the run. Lyndon Blake talked about it. Joe Golding said, this is what's happened on the road this year. We get caught in a 10-0, a 12-2. And again, where does it start? On the defensive end by a guy who hasn't scored, but he will get an assist. And in the open floor, Eric Gaines is money. Look at that bird's eye view.
And I love the timeout there if you're UTEP. Settle your team down. Don't allow the momentum to build. That helps you sort of prevent those 12-0 runs. At least in theory, it's supposed to. Now, we'll see if the Blazers can come out and continue to press a little bit here and to get into the Miners defensively.
9-0 run for UAB in front of a hostile environment. Jordan Walker on the bench. UAB has ramped up their defense. You can see double teaming on the ball, and Buffin will get called for the foul.
And you play pretty great defense. Again, the pressure, you're not going to steal every ball. You're just not. You're not going to tip every pass. Those guys are, they're scholarship guys too. So
that's a good part.
You just got to be patient.
Buffin will come out. And Andy Kennedy with KJ Buffin. Robbie saying to him, look, you're not going to sit for long, but you got 3 fouls.
And here's Ty Brewer. Ty Brewer does a great job at the top of that zone press. Deflecting balls. Good job with that length.
They're going to call it offensive.
And that's the freshman sticking his nose in there, taking the charge. Coach Kennedy, Andy Kennedy, showing a ton of trust in Butter Johnson by allowing him these minutes, crucial minutes while this game's being decided. Here he sticks his nose in there and takes it right in front of the official.
This is conference play, and Butter Johnson a year ago, like we said, was playing holiday tournaments in Huntsville. It's crazy. 2 for a tie. 3 would put the Blazers in front.
And if you're the Blazers, you got to attack the paint.
Like that. And it's Butter. Smooth. They're going to wave it off.
It won't count. It won't count at all. That's a great call. That ball was probably going to drop. And Trey Jemison looking to make a play. I understand here. Great job by Butter. Johnson getting in the lane. Let's take a look. It's on the cylinder for sure. It's right over. That ball's going to drop. That ball was going to drop. But you like the aggressive play by Trey Jemison. You like the activity of attacking the offensive glass.
UTEP hasn't scored in nearly 4 minutes.
And if you're UTEP here, you can't get out of sorts. You still have to come down Play smart. Don't allow the pressure and the crowd and the energy in here that's changed. You can't allow that to rush you and speed you up. Continue to play the way you've been playing.
Hardy, swish.
Get it to your lead scorer, let him make a basket.
Big three silences the crowd. And a steal. It's Givens ahead of the pack. Oh, it's blocked! No foul, no goaltending. Givens for three, silences the crowd.
That's a great block by Eric Gaines. He didn't give up on the play. Great, tremendous athletic play that we've become accustomed to seeing. But if you're the Blazers, you're Andy Kennedy, you're upset because no one else was running. That's a loose ball that ultimately Utep got to, that you could have easily secured.
So a big comeback run, if you will, for UTEP. Now an offensive foul. And this will give UTEP all the momentum back. And Jelly Walker will check back in, but they went 4 minutes without scoring. The lead got cut down to 2. Not only that, UAB had that shot at the rim.
We're looking here, Eric Gaines with the chase down block, such superior athleticism. But again, the loose ball goes right to the Miners and finds an open three for Givens.
Now, if they get a three here, they'll be back up to double digits. Nice ball fake. Givens has a lot of guts. That last shot, here's a 2.
And there's a loose ball. Blazers able to come up with it.
But Johnson will head to the free throw line.
Just a little bit less English and it may go down. And now he'll have to go and earn them at the line.
Hardy with his third foul. Now, go back to what we talked about a lot in the first half. UTEP 61% on the year at the line. Let's see if that factors into how Andy Kennedy coaches down the stretch. He might go to a hack a minor. Butta with 4 points. He has missed at the line once tonight, his first miss of the year. Utep in possession, and the Miners lead by 5. The number on the back of the jersey of Shamar Givens. Cross court, back to Givens. One-on-one.
Shot fake and a foul.
And they got Buffin.
Shot fake and a foul.
That head fake, which has been there all game long. You talked about it.
I mean, it's like his patented move. He's done a good job here. Great patience by the Miners, getting it to Solomon right there in his spot. Pump fake. Buffin just raises up just a little bit, gets him out of position, just a touch.
You see that right hand just inching down?
Just a little bit.
That's enough. All right, remember that 61% free throw shooting. Solomon, by the way, on the year, 50%. He's going to make 1 out of 2 at best. And these are valuable points for UTEP. We're under 9 minutes left to go. Miners do not want to leave anything at the line. 0 for 2. That's a big empty possession, Mo Finley.
Empty possession. If you're the Miners, and that's the thing, you're getting an open shot, an open opportunity. Wide open for Butter Johnson.
UTEP ball, so 8:04 now. Butter had a pretty good open look.
And those are the shots that guys usually make at home. But again, if you're the Blazers, you're usually up. You're not down 5 with 8 minutes to go. Yeah, so it's a little easier to make when you're already well ahead of your opponent.
UTEP 0 for the road this year. Baseline won't go. Jemison with the board. Jelly step back three. That is clean. No goaltending there.
I think Butter Johnson never would have touched that ball if he'd have thought for 1 second it wouldn't be able to count.
Well, the freshman making a difference. Got 7. Lead is 3. Lead about to be 5. Otis Frazier, no one was there.
Yeah, Jelly Walker just got a little overextended. Forgot about the guy on the backside. Zone press. That guy's the guy that's open. Half court trap. He's going to be open. The backside. Oh, wow. You got to pick it up.
Saved by Gaines. And then Jemison.
There's Jemison. And that's what the Blazers were possibly missing from the first half. Jemison's activity around the basket.
Jemison gets his first 2 points of the game. And it comes with 6:37 remaining. Officials will call a timeout. We will take a timeout as well from Bartow Arena. Utep up by 3, 6:37 remaining. Bartow Arena, 3-point lead for the visiting Utep Miners. University of Texas El Paso won the national championship in college basketball 1966 under the legendary Don Bear Haskins.
I would imagine those teams were gritty defensively as well.
Oh yeah, they definitely were.
This has been a fun game. 6 minutes is a long time, 6.5 minutes. It's been a tough, tightly contested contest, as it should be in conference play.
Gibbons. Look at him trying to put on a dribbling display. 3 for Gibbons.
Blazers are reaching. The Miners are down on the floor.
Here's Jelly, 1 on 4. Look at Butter Johnson got in there, but here come the Miners. They pick up that loose change.
It just comes down to who is going to get down on the floor and come up with the loose balls.
Calvin Solomon with an outstanding game tonight. Travel back to UAB.
How about Gordon coming in, giving big minutes off the bench? Physical player, coming in to bring some toughness that maybe the Blazers have been a little lacking so far during the game.
A little pressure by the Miners. Not sure that's what UAB wanted. Gordon, who has not made a 3, took that corner 3.
He didn't hesitate, though.
No. Miners in possession. Steal, here comes a 2-on-1. Gaines lost it.
And that's the carelessness that you can't have. You can't do it. You have to take care of the ball. Those are opportunities that we talked about. Utep not missing or leaving points on the floor. That's a 2-on-1 fast break. If you're the Blazers, you have to come away with points.
With 2 of the quickest guards in the conference, no less. It's all about empty possessions. Nice dish. And a block by Jemison.
Jemison protecting the rim as Butter Johnson
stepped out of bounds.
Freshman not quite aware of where he was on the court.
You could just feel the electricity in this building. What a block, great shot. Good video stuff right there. But UTEP and their fans back in East Texas wondering, can we get this done? Actually, it's in West Texas. I'm sorry. In the state of.
Right here, 4-minute interval. Like the last period of a practice right here, 4 minutes to see who's able to break their streak or keep their streak alive.
Right, that's about to say. UTEP has not won on the road. UAB has not lost at home, and every time you look up, there's another chance for Utep. Givens, a little off balance, can't make it go down. Walker draws contact. Now that's a silly foul, Utep. Don't want to do that.
That's a terrible foul by Solomon, and you can see Coach giving him an earful there, deservedly so. There's no reason for it. You're doing a great job. The pressure is on the home team, and Jelly Walker is great at the foul line, great at drawing fouls, and essentially you give the Blazers a chance to cut the lead without the clock moving.
Jelly had about 90 feet left to go, and he was fouled. That's
even Jelly was surprised that there was contact over there right there.
That's right. You fouled me. All right, here's Walker. 12 points, a dozen, so he's going to be way below his average. But right now the average doesn't matter. It's sinking a couple of free throws. First of a 1-and-1 is going to go, so he'll have a chance to make it 14 points on the night.
As a scorer, sometimes it just doesn't go in. It just does not go in. But you have to find a way. Just like last week, he found a way to score late. You'll have to find a way to pull out a little jelly magic tonight as well.
Final four. Givens and Walker.
You can't foul here if you're Walker. Good job of staying solid without fouling here in the backcourt.
Shot clock, Mo, at 6. Don't want to bail him out, but UAB does. That's on Jelly. And that'll take us to a break. We'll see buckets by both teams. 3:35 remaining. A 1-point game at Bartow Arena as the visitors are holding on to the lead. We got a thriller at Bartow Arena. We call it the Magic City of Birmingham, Alabama. Look at that stat. Somebody has been reading the game notes. Utep 8-0 with a lead under 5 minutes to play. 3:35, that's under 5. They have a 1-point lead.
Somebody's streak is going to be broken tonight for sure. If you're the Blazers, you have to love what Trey Jemison has brought in the second half, protecting the rim, deflections, leading the transition buckets. You're down 1 3 minutes to go at a place you don't lose. If you're UAB, you have to feel pretty comfortable. If you're the Miners, with regards to, you've done a great job thus far. You haven't won on the road yet, and you want to make sure you're hoping that the ghosts of the road don't show up again tonight at Bartow Arena for you.
Either way, Joe Golding, only in his second year, he has coached, and his staff has put together a tremendous game plan today.
I love what they've done. I love the way they play defensively. Outside, as a former guy who used to try to score a little bit, I would love to see a little more offense from them, obviously. But I think the toughness that they play with defensively will help them win some games later. Obviously, the scoring is the thing you can't control so much, but defense, you can bring it every single game.
That's Kevin Kalu, who obviously has an eye issue. UAB with a double team on Givens, and it's Buffin with the steal. Stripped, and it will be UAB basketball.
That was a great play by Givens. I thought that was one of the smartest plays of the night. You cannot afford to allow UAB to take the lead here with a transition bucket after a turnover because it gives them a chance to set their D. At least make them earn it in the half court.
20 to shoot. Crowd wants Walker's 3. Kept alive. Eric Gaines.
I don't think you need a 3 right here. I don't think you need a 3 at all. That's a loose ball that you got to get. You don't need a 3. There are 3 minutes left. Attack the rim. That's how you climb back in it. Keep attacking the basket.
We're under the 3-minute mark. Miners by 1. Givens a double team, and he called a timeout. What an ending we've got in store for you tonight. Anyway, what I love to see, Mo, when you read the visitors' notes, you and I are Birmingham based, but it always is, it'll be a national broadcast. We got to remember that. There's people all over the country, not just Texas and Alabama, but all over the country. And if you're tuning in right now, first we wish you a happy holidays and a healthy new year. But look at that score right there. This would be a fairly significant. I want to go major. I don't want to say, small school, big school, or anything along those lines. Right. I want to keep it in perspective. But when you look at, again, the home road break, and you look at how well that Andy Kennedy's team has played in his tenure here, this is right now, this is 249 away from a pretty significant road win.
And I think if you're if you love college basketball, this has been a great game thus far, which will have a great ending in one direction or the other.
Shot clock empties. Yeah, it empties. So here comes UAB again. 2:35 remaining. Now, what they want here, again, if you're watching this nationally, they want the guy wearing a 1-0 to shoot a long-distance three. Logo Joe. Right now, Jelly Walker pointing towards Gaines and telling him, take the right side. Kick saving a beauty by Tay Hardy.
And that's the right idea for you, the Blazers. I would be shocked if this ball doesn't touch the paint, but if your Gaines there, again, it's late game. You got to execute properly. Wasn't a great passing angle. Just got lucky. Ball's able to deflect it off a Miners player.
Buffin and now Gaines. Rises, shoots, misses. Utep now 220 with a 1-point lead.
The Miners here use a little clock, force UAB to guard.
Longer you guard, the more tired you get.
Attacking the freshman, good dish.
And a little Tay Hardy with a little push shot. Let's see.
And Tay Hardy has carried the load tonight, 16 on the night. He's done a great job of picking his spots well, and his teammates have done a really good job of finding him in those spots.
Buffin, 3-ball, foul ball, and that's going to take you to the line for 3.
Wow. And if you're Coach Golden,
not good defense again. That's shocking.
And if you're the Blazers, UTEP is doing all they can to help you to a degree.
Yeah.
They are trying to help you.
Yeah.
So a freshman here, down 3, a freshman with a minute and a half left, has a chance to tie this ball game.
Yeah, but he came into the game 6 for 6 at the free throw line. He's missed twice tonight. He's 3 out of 5 tonight. Ephraim Johnson played at Grissom High School. That's in the state of Alabama, up north near Huntsville.
He looks to be behind the line
What do you think,
here.
that right foot?
The right foot is close, but, and of course, from that angle, he appears to be behind the line. But if you remember a few plays ago, he stepped out of bounds in this same near corner.
Yes.
So maybe
3.
If you're him, fortunately it's a 3 for the Blazers. But you definitely want to be closer to that 3-point line than that out of bounds line for sure. Freshman has a chance to tie the game here.
You're loving it. What you're seeing, Bo, as a former point guard here at UAB, you're seeing yourself and trying to put yourself in his uniform as a freshman going, wow, man, this is pretty big. That's why Andy Kenny doesn't have anything left up top.
But do you see the guy over there laughing on the bench with his shooting shirt on, the UAB at the end of the bench? That was me as a freshman with a minute and a half to go in a conference game. So,
right. Some big stuff coming up. He's got 3. Uno.
And the early minutes gives him the confidence to come in and step to the line, even take the shot that he got in the corner. Coach Andy Kennedy showing a lot of faith in him.
Here's Dose. And now looking for Trace, which would tie the game up. UTEP with 137 will be in possession. What do you think, Mo? Do you also pressure this inbound? There's a miss. So 2 out of 3.
Yeah, well, I think now you have to just try to stay solid. A minute and a half, they're going to come down. They're going to try to work the clock. You got to find a way to play solid defense and aggressive, but do not foul. Do not commit a dumb foul here for the UAB Blazers.
Gibbons. Two guys go after Gibbons. Now they back up, deflected, in the hands. That's coming up short. Big scrum, and then a jump, and it looks like possession Utep. Yep. 108, 68 seconds left to go, and a 1-point game.
And here you got Hardy right to his spot. Just came up a little short, but there's the offensive rebound. Eric Gaines got his hands in there.
Yep.
Got his hand in there, and that forcing a tie-up as opposed to a putback, possibly with a minute and 8 left, could be the difference or play a major role in the outcome of this game.
Shot clock goes to 20 for UTEP. UTEP with a 1-point lead. Love that stat that our crew came up with. 8-0 when they lead under 5 minutes. Holding on for dear life here with 68 seconds remaining at Bartow Arena.
And that speaks to their ability to execute. Under 5 minutes, Coach Anderson, he used to call that winning time. And so you want to make sure that you're taking care of each possession. Every detail is being taken care of, and the Miners have done a great job of that thus far this season.
Well, I talked about it, 61% free throw shooting as a team, but UAB is not fouling at the moment. And there's your foul.
They heard you.
Yes.
They heard you.
It's on Johnson. And Mo, you got to.
Yeah, I think you have to right here.
I mean.
And especially, hey, he's in the post. He's in his area. Solomon's been doing a great job of making good decisions there. You don't want to give him a chance to catch you in a bad spot and score.
Shamar Gibbons. High post. On the wing, Frazier. Otis Frazier. Shot clock at 1. Hoists. No good. Shot clock violation. That's why the referees will blow the whistle. All right, Mo, you got to help me out now. 37-7 in the game. Shot clock at 30. When do you take the shot?
Well, I think if you're the Blazers here, with the way things have been going so far, I think you've done a good job defensively. The fact that UTEP doesn't make free throws well,
yes.
I don't know that you wait. I don't think you wait. I think you attack early, give yourself multiple opportunities to score, and plus you can always extend the game by fouling.
UAB calls a timeout, so they will get the ball at midcourt. Scintillating,
it's a good
excruciating game.
It's a good one.
All right, so the clock goes up to 39.1. Shot clock at 30. So even if the shot clock emptied, UTEP's going to have at least one more possession. But I like your thinking, well, especially because UAB, again, is the home team.
Right.
Get that. Well, actually, we thought we were going to half court. Get that ball early, because you've missed a lot of balls as well.
Right. You got to give yourself multiple opportunities to come back here and win this game.
Look out for 10. If you're watching at home, look for 10 in white. This is Gaines. Corner jumper, Butta. Got it!
Wow, the freshman. The freshman, look at everyone greeting. That's ice in his veins.
I got one word for a freshman who hits a three-pointer with under 30 seconds, and that would be sick. Yeah. That is a sick shot with ice in his veins. UTEP called the timeout. They've got 27-3.
And this is a great find by Eric Gaines. Skipping into the weak side. Everyone's expecting Eric Gaines to attack the basket. And Johnson open for the three. Great shot, clutch shot. And again, as Andy Kennedy, I looked over to the bench immediately to get his reaction. You know, the team is celebrating, which, you know, you're going to have emotional response after a comeback like this. But the game is not over. There's still plenty of time, and you still have to play these 28 seconds with the utmost concentration and focus.
I know UAB is going to play defense, but I wouldn't be afraid to foul. 61% at the free throw line.
I think you have to. I think you have to foul, especially if there's a clear-cut basket. Pump fake.
No foul called. 9 seconds to go, and if it's a jump, it's going to be Blazer ball. It is.
Not a jump.
Timeout, UTEP.
It's
okay.
not a jump. UTEP, 3 guys. They've done it all night on the floor.
Did I see an official point towards UAB ball? No, it can't be. Let's play this one through. So this is not a jump. Okay, so there's the timeout right there.
Yep.
All right, that's where he comes in.
Right.
See, that point, I thought what he was pointing to is pointing towards a timeout, but he was not pointing towards possession.
Right.
All right, so what again? 7.9, 2 for a tie, 3 for the dramatic walk-off, and a team that struggles at the line.
I think you foul if there is a clear-cut opportunity for a point-blank layup. Make them earn it. Now, the problem comes with this. If you foul and they go make 1 of 2 and they miss the second one and it's a tip out or something happens where you don't get the offensive rebound, the Miners have done such a great job of coming up with loose balls, you run the risk of losing at the buzzer. If you're UAB, you have to just play good defense and try not to give up anything wide open.
From distance, by the way, the walk-off win for UTEP, if you're looking for that, they're 5 out of 18 tonight. That's really not their game.
Right. But they've made some tough ones. And here's the thing. When you make a few and you're playing as well as UTEP has played over the course of the night, your confidence level is much higher than it normally would be on the road because they don't typically find themselves in this position on the road. So
Givens will inbound at 7.9. Solomon gives it up. Here's a 3. It goes down. UTEP by 1. That was Givens. Here comes Gaines at 2. At 1. Launch. No good. Did they foul him?
That's absolutely the correct call. And if you're Coach Golden, you have to just scratch your head at that one. Why? Why would you foul a jump shooter from roughly 27, 28 feet away from the basket? This is just a clutch play by Givens here. He's open, good screen in, knocking it down. Eric Gaines pushing it here, and he's pulling up. He's going away from the basket. It's definitely a foul. It's a foul for sure.
Also 3 shots. So you basically have 3 to make 2.
3 to make 2.
3 to make 2.
Is that the old NBA rules? Old.
I'm sorry?
Is that the old NBA rules? 3 to
Yes,
make 2?
it was. 3 to make 2. I believe they have that in the G League.
3 to
So
make 2.
if you make the first one, then you don't have to shoot the other one. Something like that.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Called a couple games. All right, here's Gaines. He's got 3 coming. He only needs 2. There is 0.3 of a second. Uh-oh. Well, the best now, he can still win it for UA. Well, I say put them in front. There's 0.3, which should give you a chance to get off a shot.
I think if you're Eric Gaines, you just got to focus on making 1.
That's right. Like that one. What a gritty, unbelievable effort by UTEP. I just said they can't hit from outside, and Givens says hit this.
And Givens, the 5th-year guy, one of the most experienced players on their roster, the Evansville transfer, finds a way to make a play at the end of the game. They've done everything possible to come out of here with a victory tonight.
Everybody standing at Bartow. And we're going overtime. 1 out of 3.
And if you're Eric Gaines, you got to press delete. I mean, it's disappointing, obviously, but you have to press delete now. It rimmed out, but if you're UTEP, you're probably a little frustrated because this is a game that you essentially could have wrapped and put a bow on it because that foul at the end is unnecessary. That's the cardinal rule. You do not foul a jump shooter, especially shooting 3.
We will take a timeout. We're going OT. 5 more minutes. Blazers, Miners tied at 57. Lyndon?
I think Eric Gaines is still in disbelief that he only made 1 out of the 3 free throws. He was visibly frustrated in the huddle. There was even stomping going on, just trying to kind of calm his emotions down. His teammates consoling him, telling him, hey, game's not over. We're still in this 5 minutes to go. But this veteran player, one of the leaders on this team, wanted to walk it off on the charity stripe for the Blazers, but now they'll have to do a little bit more work.
Well,
if you're UAB, you have to be ecstatic because you were essentially down 2 with, dead in the water, so to speak, and you get foul shooting a 3. Overtime is a pretty the hole there.
They push Jemison from behind. Otherwise, that's a turnover. Well, maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think without the hole, maybe it's a dunk. So that's actually,
wow.
I think it's a pretty good foul on Yemen. So Yemen taking his time and say, hey, I'd rather give up a free throw line than for you to, give up a free throw opportunity than a dunk.
Jemison, only a 57% free throw shooter. That is his 3rd point of the game.
And his presence in the second half was essentially a huge part of the difference, just with his deflections and his protection of the rim. Such a good job. And
1 out of 2.
1 for 2. 1 for 2. 1 for 2. Free throws are going to haunt whoever does not find a way to win this ball game.
UAB has missed 10 free throws. Is there room to get the shot off? Yes, for Tay Hardy. He's got 19, the highlighted player.
Great job by Hardy of getting into the body of Trey Jemison. Shot blockers, when you can get into their body, it does give them an opportunity to reach up and do what they do best.
Jordan Walker looking to rise for 3. He draws contact, and another foul.
Very smart play by Jordan Walker. Realized he had just enough room to slide back and snake dribble off that ball screen, and now
just put him on the line for 3 more, though.
It's just a tough defensive assignment for one, because you've been chasing him all night, and 2, he hasn't shot well. You're maybe not even thinking he's going to pull up for 3 there, but Gibbons just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Jordan Walker looking to go take advantage of it.
1 for the tie. So 15 for Jelly.
Jelly proves us all wrong if he finds a way to get 8 more points, 9 more points.
Yeah, and he's got the overtime to do it. All right. So UAB up by 1, 4:10 remaining. First overtime. That's how you do it. 3 for 3.
Yeah, back to the trap, now to the pressure.
On the bottom of that trap is a freshman. That would be Johnson. Gaines, big defensive play.
If you remember, prior to that, Jordan Walker was on the backside, on the weak side of that zone. You put the most athletic guy on your team back there, and that's a deflection, that's a steal. That's Eric Gaines' ability to just float and jump, and Andy Kenney's also his ability to recognize putting him back there makes the difference.
Jelly couldn't hit the 3.
I don't like the shot. I'll say it out loud. I don't like it. I think you're at home. You've done a great job of coming back. I think you run a little clock. You put more pressure on a team that hasn't won on the road. I would prefer you not to take a tough challenge 3, especially when the team on tonight, they're shooting essentially at, my guess is that 2 for 20? Is my math correct? 2 for 20 from 3?
So about Utep?
No, UAB.
Oh, UAB, 2 for 20, yeah.
And that's,
yeah. Gibbons, who put his team out in front at the end of regulation until a foul.
And Gibbons is one of their better free throw shooters at 79%.
Right. 13 points for Shamar Gibbons, and so back at tied, 61 apiece. Thrilling game at Bartow Arena. Jordan Walker feeds Buffin for 2.
And if you're the Blazers, the next 3 minutes have to be about attacking the paint. Not settling for jump shots, not looking for back-breaking threes in transition. Attack the rim, attack the paint.
See a double team by UAB, which leaves a guy open, and a 3-ball put down by Tay Hardy. 22 for Hardy.
Tay Hardy with his 21st point of the night. And if you're going to win on the road, you need your best scorer to come out and make that play.
Walker trying to answer. Pendulum swing for the guys in orange. This is what it looked like really near the end of regulation. They had a lead they were trying to nurse to the finish line.
Stagger. Ball, side ball screen. Good defense by Jelly Walker there.
10 to shoot. Gibbons. Dunk you. Kalu with points 2 and 3 on the night.
Emphatic dunk from Kalu. Great find by Gibbons. Good patience by Utep. Didn't rush, ran their offense, got exactly what they wanted.
Nation's leading scorer. Looking for a foul, didn't get it. That is a big turnaround now. 1:35 remaining. Utep with possession and a 3-point lead. And there will be a timeout. And I think it's going to be because of the injury right in front of us.
Otis Frazier, he's just coming back off an MCL knee injury sprain. So he's been back a few weeks. You hate to see the young kid hobble off.
David Lovin comes in. Interesting move by Andy Kennedy. Is that for defense?
I think it's for defense. David Lovin's one of the most experienced players on the team. Obviously, you're taking out a freshman who essentially didn't recognize that the leading scorer, Tay Hardy, was here in his area. And so Coach Kennedy goes with experience here for the final minute and a half. Blazers upset. I don't know. He called timeout. What can you be upset about there, Kurt?
Let's see. They're going to extend this to a full timeout. What a job that guy's done right there. Joe Golding.
They have come into Bartow Arena tonight and made the game ugly and played scrappy. Defensively, they've done everything you want your team to do. And so they should be really excited about where they are in terms of the direction they're moving. They're 1-0 in conference. Of course, they still have a chance to be 2-0. But I like what I've seen from the Utep Miners so far tonight.
Mo, Utep has come too far for the sentimental victory.
No.
No way will they be happy if they lose this game in any concession. They need a dub right now. They need to win to get on that plane and go home and say, what a game we had. We beat the preseason conference favorites, a team that doesn't lose at home.
Right. And they played well enough to win. Like, in all honesty, they have played well enough to win. They dominated the Blazers on the glass. They played well defensively. They beat them to loose balls. I think if you're the Miners, you can't walk out of here with a, we did a good job. That's not going to be sufficient at all. For the Blazers, I think you'll kick yourself a little bit if you're in that locker room, because you had opportunities that you normally capitalize on, especially at home, that you have essentially not been able to capitalize on tonight.
The rebounding margin is almost historic, the way UAB defends at home. But they have been out-rebounded 48-30. Go back to that three-point shooting for a moment, Bo. That one just caught my eye. You're right. 2 for 22, the Blazers. 2 for 22. And you could feel a few of them were under pressure thinking, I got to be the hero ball, we call it.
Right, and you have to take your time and get a good shot, but at the end, you can't. A wide open three, yes. Challenge wins, no.
Nice head fake, lean in, won't go.
Loose rebound, loose ball.
Wow, what a break for Utep, and they earned it. Shot clock was about to go out, and they wind up with a second chance opportunity here. UAB down by 3, Utep +3. Gibbons, blocking foul on UAB.
Gibbons turning the corner. Here's Gaines stepping in. I don't know that it's a block. I don't know that Eric Gaines looks to be in position. And that you could say block or no call, I guess, but you know, Eric Gaines obviously frustrated from what happened at the end of regulation.
You mentioned this a few minutes ago. Of all the poor free throw shooters on Utep, this is not one.
Right.
Givens is at 79% coming in. And he is 3 for 4 tonight. He knocks down one. They got a. There's a 2-possession game. He's got 14 in the game.
And Givens, he's the leader of this team. He's not the leading scorer option, but as the fifth-year senior, he's the leader of the team. And he's out there because he's experienced and he's accustomed. If there's anyone that Utep wants at the line, it's him.
Really, one of the 5 guys on the floor, you got confidence that he's going to hit the free throws, and that's the guy that UAB chose to foul. Walker trying to create. Defense by Utep. I think everybody was thinking of goaltending. Wasn't called. Certainly was no foul. And boy, Utep's in a really, really good spot now.
Right, 35 seconds left. They look like they're about to close in on their first road win. Here's Jelly Walker probing and probing. Oh, wow. Onyema to go up and get that one this late in the game. Think about this. This is like the 44th minute, 43 minutes, 44 and a half minutes. To have that athleticism this late in the game, it's a great block by him. And now their best free throw shooter back on the line.
Keeps the door slightly open. UAB down by 5. Only 30 seconds to go. 3-pointer. Yes.
And if you're the Blazers, that's essentially what the doctor ordered. Now you can foul and essentially try to extend the game.
All right. Utep has not driven the nail home yet in that coffin. See Walker's numbers there, 20 points.
Great right to left crossover. And if you're Utep, you'll live with that. Essentially, the night that the Blazers have had, you'll live with that 3 right there.
Right.
If you're Utep, what you don't want to do is come down and turn the ball over here and give the Blazers an opportunity to score quickly.
About a 27-foot wing 3. Take her cap off to the guy who leads the nation in scoring.
And that's an amazing deal, night in and night out, to come out knowing that other teams are gearing up to stop you or to shut you down or to limit your opportunities. To lead the nation in scoring, I think I don't know that it's celebrated as much as it should be. Obviously, you want team success, and if you're Jordan Walker, I'm sure that's his main focus. I don't know if the Blazers have followed Coach Kennedy's instructions.
Miners get the ball in. Once again, Givens, I don't think he was fouled the first time, but he was the second time. That first time when he went down and leaned over, he was not fouled.
I think maybe Taven Love thought he was. He thought the official had called a foul. But now the Miners have a chance to go to the line and do what they haven't done well, over the course of the year.
Right.
So if you can go and win it at the free throw line, that does wonders for your team's confidence moving forward.
Can you imagine the confidence, by the way, if UTEP pulls it off, the rest of the conference foes coming in here knowing that the Dragon literally has been slayed.
Right.
2-point
We can do it. This is the formula. This is what we have to do.
Make it ugly as possible. Big miss. Because if he makes this one now, you're 3 away from a tie again.
And 23 seconds is a long time. I think if you're the Blazers, even if he makes this, go down and attack the basket, extend the game, force UTEP to beat you where they're not the best. They're not great at the foul line. Force them to beat you from there.
Five for 8 is Givens. How about it? There's that 61% haunting UTEP. Shot clock is off. 2 for a tie, 3 for the lead. Walker, step back. It's not there. Try to force it. And it is Second chance, UAB Buffin with 5.9.
KJ Buffin. And he's quiet. That's a quiet 15. That's his 15 point.
Yeah.
And he's done a phenomenal job of just kind of staying active, staying around the basket here. Jelly Walker trying to make something happen. Great defense, stays down on it. Tough leaning jump shot, but there's Buffin underneath. And if you're the Miners, that's a great job of not fouling them, not fouling on the putback.
I agree with that. Another great point, Bo. 5.9. Now, I've been saying this for about 10, 15 minutes. Foul. No. Now you don't with 5.9.
I think you just got to play good D here and hope that you can, if you're the Blazers, I think you just hope that you can hold on and try to find a way to get to a second overtime.
Right.
And if you're the Miners, you don't want to get careless and throw it away.
Walker, he tried to force contact, Mo.
That's a great job by giving him staying away, not allowing him to get into his body. And KJ Buffin just did not quit on the play, didn't assume a make. Good rebounders never assume that every shot's going in.
Buffin, by the way, split two defenders. So two orange jerseys, he went right in between.
And they just sort of stood like, listen, if you can make this, it's a tie game. I'm not going to foul you. My coach is already upset with a couple of my teammates for committing 4 fouls. I don't want to be the next victim.
Andy Kennedy trying to keep his record perfect at home this year, 8-0. And again, UAB, since he took over 2.5 years ago, they're 39-4 in this building. 5.9 is a lot.
That's a lot of time, and if UAB is able, if you're the Miners, I would push and try to push this ball, ram this ball right down UAB's throat here as quick as I could to force them to either foul me or let me go for an easier shot.
Look for Gibbons. Here's 5. Gibbons, no foul. 2, 1, blocked. No foul, no goaltending. OT number 2 coming up. How about you? Let's keep going, Mo. I want to set records.
You know what? I think we have. I think no one here expected this game to be a double overtime thriller.
One OT is not enough. Let's go 2. 68-68. Mo and I will be back for another 5 minutes right after this. All right, we're going another 5 minutes. Lyndon Blake, take it over.
Well, guys, that atmosphere and that huddle completely different from going into the first overtime. There's a lot of frustration with Eric Gaines. There's a lot of angst amongst the team. This was very positive. Jelly Walker telling his teammates, we got this. A lot of praises for Buffin. Just a different kind of team. Trey Jemison stepping up, giving some encouragement. So it seems like they're heading into this next 5 minutes on a little bit more positive note.
UAB got possession to start the first OT lob. That's what they did first time around, and Jemison will get fouled.
I think if you're the Blazers, you got to go inside. These 5 minutes, if I'm Coach Andy Kennedy, I tell each one of those fellas, hey, listen, let's get a paint touch, whether it's through feeding the post or whether it's a dribble and attack. Here, a great lob over the top for Jemison. Just wasn't able to get it to drop. But that's where the Blazers will have to find a way to win these next 5 minutes, in the paint.
Trey 2 out of 3 at the free throw line. Get another one coming. Blazers jump up by 1 here in the second OT. And Jemison, 2 for 2. Look at Buffin and a high differential. That's how much respect that Gibbons is getting. Buffin's going to take him one-on-one.
And Buffin at the top of the trapping defense, trying to force the Blazers trying to force the Miners, to make tough passes over the top of him.
10 to shoot. Gibbons running the court. No contact. Second chance. And that's going to be a foul. Yes, it is on Kalu. Big miss and a big foul.
Here's a freshman sticking his nose in there, going in for the box out, attacking the defensive glass, and just got a little push.
Here's Butter.
I don't think anybody will leave here disappointed with regards to the quality of play tonight, with the excitement level. And, of course, somebody has to lose, and somebody's streak is going to be over. But all in all, it's been a great atmosphere tonight here at Bartow Arena.
Johnson's career high is 14. If he makes this, he'll tie that. But more importantly, he would give UAB a 4-point lead. So UAB in the second overtime, Mo, perfect at the line.
4, is that the biggest lead? That may be the biggest lead of the night for the Blazers.
One thing that Utep cannot afford now is a turnover. And they almost did. You got Buffin and his size at the top of that defense.
Good D by Buffin.
3 for Givens. Short.
Notice the box out. Every Blazer right there boxed out perfectly. Even if the Blazers don't get it, the Miners can't get it. Great defensive possession by UAB.
Maybe their best of the night. And it's
Without
taken,
a doubt.
It's taken
50 minutes.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm hoping you would help me out there. 50-plus minutes. Jemison wanted it inside, by the way.
If you're the Blazers here, you got to get a paint touch, attack the rim here.
Gaines lob. Missed. Looking for Lovin. That was a pretty good pass. It was
a perfect pass.
Perfect pass.
Lovin has to find a way to catch it and lay it in. I know, everyone wants the emphatic throwdown, but in a tight game where you're grateful to be in it, you got to just make a good play.
Hardy. Before he stepped out, he got fouled.
And Hardy here driving baseline, Taven Lovin just a little bit upright. Got him with his hip a little bit.
4 on Lovin. Here's Hardy at the free throw line. 21 points tonight.
He's done such a great job of getting to his spots. And we knew he would come in and do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of scoring, but, to essentially almost double. Whenever a guy can almost double his points per game, that lets you know that he had it going.
1 out of 2. And you've been talking about that for quite a while. 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2. Both teams really have missed, I believe it's a combined 20 free throws.
It's just difficult to win on the road when you're not making them. That's a good foul by Eric Gaines. That is a good foul.
The teams, by the way, have combined, real quickly, 21 missed free throws. Missed. And you like that foul by Gaines?
I love that foul by Gaines.
Put him at the line.
Good old European basketball right there. You turn it over in Spain or in Italy somewhere, and you take that foul to stop the fast break. I didn't understand it at first, but after not taking it and hearing someone dress you down in a different language, hey, it's a transition opportunity for them. Take the foul.
Second overtime. Givens. Money. $16 points in the game for Givens. Again, he is UTEP's best free throw shooter. And he makes this a 1-point lead for UAB. So UAB 72-71. Moments ago it was 5. It's now down to 1.
Got to get to the basket.
Walker, kick out. Wide open Gaines. Nice fake to the rim. He had his mind made up.
Right.
He was getting that rebound, wasn't he?
But if you're the Blazers, that's a great possession. You got to drive, penetrating kick, extra pass from Johnson there. Gaines turned down the 3.
Walker, no foul. Off of Buffin's back. Here comes Utep. Chance to take the lead. Buffin right in his hands. Here's Walker. 2-on-1 again. Walker. And fouled and one.
Walker resisted the urge to throw the lob. I thought that was a great decision. A tough finish here in transit. He's one of the best finishing guards in Conference USA, if not the country, with an array of finishes left and right hand. Very good job there. Great decision by Jordan Walker.
He's the Mariano Rivera of college basketball.
And he's getting close
to his average.
He's getting close. Scorers, they got to score to breathe, man. They figure out a way. Great scorers figure out a way to do it.
They do. I agree with you. Looks like it's a garbage night, a terrible night, and meanwhile, you look up, he's at 23. So the Blazers by 2 possessions. Don't give up on this Utep team. Spin move basket. Wow, was that pretty by Otis Frazier.
Great move by Otis Frazier, attacking Trey Jemison. Miners not going to go away, not going to panic.
Little clock manipulation by the Blazers. Double team on Jelly. Finds Buffin, and it's tipped back in by Jemison.
Jemison always around that basket, cleaning up his teammates' messes.
He was invisible in that first half, Mo.
Like you say, it's hard to score from the bench. Oh, that's good D. That's good D by Jemison there without fouling.
Shot clock at 10. We're under a minute left to go. Second OT. They took a lot of time there, didn't they, Utep? They had their shot. Tay Hardy, who's been hitting from everywhere, and that might have sealed it. He was, under a lot of stress and a lot of duress.
Well, I mean, that's one of the best defensive possessions for the Blazers all night. There was a little miscommunication with Eric Gaines and Jordan Walker and Coach Andy Kennedy. I couldn't tell if he was trying to get in a hurry and cross the timeline or not.
Can you repeat that line about scores? Scores will what? Scores will score.
Scores will score. He find a way. He has to score. I played for a coach. He told a guy once, you act like you can't breathe if you don't score. Like you got to score to breathe. You have to score to breathe. I remember him telling the kid that in practice. And, it's funny now, but great scorers, they find a way to do it. It's in them. They need to do it. Their teams need them to do it. And Jordan Walker has done that. He manufactured points.
Utep a turnover. Buffett. Now Walker. And that makes this mountain a lot taller to climb. In fact, that's it. Utep says enough. What a thriller at Bartow Arena. You said earlier that one team will keep their streak going, the other team will break their streak.
That's such a gritty performance by the UAB Blazers. I think if you're Andy Kennedy, you have to love the way your team responded. In spite of being down, in spite of the game never really feeling, very close. And even when the game was 4 points and Utep 4-point Utep lead, it felt more than that. And so the Blazers, they should be extremely proud and excited by the way they responded tonight.
Joe Golding and his staff coached a whale of a ball game. They really did. Had a great game plan. They took UAB to places UAB hasn't been in 2.5 years under Andy Kennedy.
I think once UTEP figures out the free throw line and they figure out, a little bit more, maybe offensive production from a few other guys, I think as they gel, as this season progresses, they're going to be a tough team to beat, especially with the way they play defense, the way they compete.
And right now, collectively across Conference USA, there are a lot of bad, dirty words being said. Thinking, my goodness, I thought we had a chance to go in there and grab a win. All right, Lyndon Blake with Andy Kennedy. Lyndon?
All right, Coach, an incredible game tonight. What did it take from your team to get this double overtime win?
Just a lot of resilience. It certainly wasn't aesthetically pleasing. We didn't do a lot of things right, but I thought our fight and our grit We could have easily given in a number of times. How many missed free throws, missed layups? I mean, just ridiculous basketball. I hope it's an eye-opener for us. Great crowd. It's as good as Bartow's been in a long, long time. And without that energy, I don't think there's any way that we get that done.
You had veterans making plays. You also had newcomers in Butter Johnson having a game, 14 points. What do you see in him to trust him as a freshman to come out here and make those plays?
He's going to play more and more because he listens, he works. He's a big guard who can dribble, pass, and shoot, and we need more of those.
You got a game on Saturday, a quick turnaround here. What is going to be your message to this team after this one?
Well, you know, I hope that we can learn from it, but we've got to flush it quickly because we've got a quick turn. We've got to get our bodies right. We've got to get our minds right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Great stuff from Lyndon Blake. Our final in double overtime. UAB remains perfect at home as they go to 9-0. For my broadcast partner, Mo Finley, our court reporter, Lyndon Blake, and our entire crew, this is Kurt Bloom saying so long from Bartow Arena, where the final score again, UAB 79, Utep 73 in double overtime. All games airing on the ESPN